Hi, Dave.
Morning, afternoon, actually.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about Alex Chason and his ability to kind of find those soft spots in front of the net and kind of lose himself to defenders and really getting good quality scoring positions. Is that just an innate ability, or is that something someone can work on and develop over time?
I think he's developed that over time. His ability to play net front on the power play, find those spots in the slot. He's got a great shot, and he'll work to get in tight around the net. So that's kind of a skill he's worked on. Found a niche in the game for him, and we've used him there, and he's been good for us in that place.
That net front presence on the power play, sometimes you don't get rewarded with the points, and people look and say, well, he plays the power play, he doesn't have this many points, but that seems to be a really important part of kind of opening everything else up, his ability to kind of just stand there and create havoc there.
When you have so much skill on the flanks like we do, and then the ability to shoot it from the top, you need a net front person. And you're exactly right. We've scored some goals where he doesn't get a ton of credit because he doesn't get an assist on it, but his assist is standing right in front of that goalie and taking his eyes away, and that's a big factor of the goal going in. So, and all the, all the stuff that we chart, those are valuable things. They might not show up on the score sheet, but those are valuable things to make things happen. And he's probably our best guy in that front, and willing to go there, takes punishment to go there, and is effective.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Dave, should the city of Edmonton be very appreciative of the fact that they had Gretzky at one time and now they have McDavid again? A lot of cities don't have even one of those players in their entire history of watching NHL games.
Well, I think the whole league should be happy to have them watch, but ultimately when they play in Edmonton, people see them more and cheer for them, so that's a great thing. I mean, they're two. Like I mentioned last night, there's a handful of players that have a huge impact on the league, and those are two guys that have been fortunate to play in Edmonton. Now, that being said, Edmonton's had a string of players go through there that are pretty darn good players. So, but it's you watch elite players like that play, and it's fun to be. It's easy to be a fan, and it's fun to be a fan of them.
And I'm going to ask you also about Mike Smith. Should he be in the Vezina conversation?
Sure, he should. He's played well. You look at his record, look at his stats. I mean, he's easily in that conversation.
Good, thank you.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Dave, I mean, we all see how well Connor skates and handles the puck and his offensive skills. I wanted to ask you about his use of deception and how you would sort of quantify the way he uses it, how good he is at it, and if you've maybe even seen a little bit more of it this year.
Well, I think his whole game, he continues to try to find ways to improve, and that's just a sign of a great player. He's a great player as is, but he's always looking for ways to improve. And his like the thing you just talked about his speed, his hands, but his thought process, and that would be deception included in that, is incredible. The way he sees things on the ice, and he's just at another level. The situations he goes in, and he'll buy time to find people that are coming late or have a look and know where they are, and then he concentrates on something else, but he still knows where that person is. That's an incredible ability that he has.
And I imagine for players that play with him regularly, maybe almost having to adjust to that a little bit, understanding that thing can come to them at any point in time. Plays might feel like there's not much happening, and then suddenly things are happening.
Yeah, no, you learn when you play with him. You be ready for it all the time. You never know when it's coming.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Dave, you just had the one power play last night, so this question isn't really germane to anything that happened last night. But I mean, you guys had a top 5 power play in the history of the league last year, and it's very close to being right there again. How do you guys try to evolve or how have you guys been able to keep it at the relatively close level to where it was last year?
Well, the core of the power play is, you got McDavid and Draisaitl and Nuge at the core of the power play. That's a pretty good first step. We've added Barry in this year, which is a right shot. Chason's done a nice job in front of the net. And actually, Puliarvi, Yamo's got some time there. So your power play, you can have a tactical kind of approach, but what makes a power play work is good players in the roles that they're in. And we're fortunate we have some really good players that situation is, they're very capable in that situation, and we've had some results.
Given that you have so much power, especially on the flanks, the point man could probably be overlooked very easily. But how would you describe the going from Barry or from Clefbaum to Nurse to Barry? And I know Nurse is obviously playing there a bit too. How does it change with those guys, and how important are they?
Well, the biggest thing is a left shot and a right shot. You're still at points depending on how the other team's defending at points, you need a threat from the back end, a middle shot from the back, and Barry's done a nice job of that. Clef probably had the mindset to shoot less. Barry will shoot if the opportunity arises. That gives our power play another dimension. Same with Nursey. Nursey probably shoots a little more than Clef did also. So it's the left-right. It's the ability to get pucks through from the point and open things up for those flanks.
Jim Matheson.
Just get back to Mike Smith again. Is his greatest strength that he's dialed in from the minute the game starts? I mean, some goalies are kind of quiet in the net and they just make the saves and they're good and stuff. But he seems as driven at the beginning of a game as Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl was driven.
I think his whole life is like that. Not just as he gets a hockey game. He's a driven guy, but he has a real competitive streak against him. When the puck drops, he's ready to play, and that's where he's always been. He's a leader that way. He's ultra competitive. He's vocal. I mean, he's engaged in the game as soon as it starts.
And it's funny, the season, the first month you played Koskinen in all the games because Smith wasn't there, and now Smith's come back and you've pretty much been riding Mike. Is it a case of he's just on this run and you see no real reason to split it like you used to, you have in the past?
Our schedule's set up. We've got lots of rest, and Mike is playing real well, and we're still working to secure a playoff spot. So he's the guy that's played well lately. He's played the majority, but we've got a bunch of games in the next 3 weeks here that Koski will get some chance to play. So we feel both guys can do the job. But Schmitty he's had a pretty good year. He's kind of taken the lead in it.
And will Stalock get a chance to play in May?
We'll see how it goes down the stretch here, but we'd like to make sure our two top guys are playing well.
Okay, good. Thank you.